Back to business and politics, talking to Congresswoman Marissa del Mar. Let's circle back on the reintegration because I think it's an important topic. But I think related to that is the issue of deployment policy, right? As you said, there's a vulnerable sector, but also there's that issue of maybe preventing the next generation from also becoming OFWs. And then you work in a number of committees in Congress, including education and the creative industries and others. I think the DMW will agree with you that the first priority is to create economic opportunities here. What can be done, and what would you like to work on? What are you working on? Maybe to help prevent that cycle of OFW families, di ba sapat na yung unang generation lang nag-sacrifice?
Yes, Klink, kung pwede nga lang.
Kung pwede
lang sabihin ko na pwede ho ba bumalik na lang kayo sa Pilipinas, just work here, have a good job, and then be with your family. That's my hope. Ang akin lang, Klink, I think education is number one.
Okay.
Kung hindi po talaga, kung kulang ang ating edukasyon para sa ating mga mahal sa buhay, ay mahihirapan tayo because ang feeling nila, pag-abroad lang ang number one priority nila and there's their hope para sa future nila, which is not true. For as long na kayo ay gumastos na po para sa edukasyon ng inyong mga anak, and we have the budget in Congress to be able to send you to different state universities, and we are just here. Just let us know. We have a budget for that. And we have to distribute it sa Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Especially next year, we need all the students to be enrolled. Kaya lang, Klink, ang nagiging problema, they do not know. Ang akala nila, they have to have the money to be able to go to school. Kasi nga, information dissemination, hindi nila alam kung ano yung karapatan nila, hindi nila alam kung ano ang benepisyo nila. That's number one. A lot of our creatives, ang mga actors natin, stage actors, or television, radio personalities, whatever, whether sa crew, sa kagaya natin, mga anchor men or anchor women, ang akala nila, when you go abroad, yun ang magandang opportunity. Bakit sila pumupunta? Our nurses, our other health workers, going abroad, ang alam nila, yun ang maganda. Bakit? You know, Klink, I would just like to say, UK companies went to our Congress office. They are in need of 10,000 nurses.
Wow.
Another company is in need of at least 1 million household service worker, kasi parang 80 to 100 a month. Parang it times 12 million. To cleaners, cooks, nannies.
I heard teachers also.
Teachers. Teachers in Indonesia. They are most loved. So, I said, how come? Because we know you're the champion, the OFW Party-List, we want to talk to you. But there is the two sides of the coin. Let's just talk about UAE. This employer went to us. They are in need of all of this because they are the #1 supplier of cleaners, cooks, nannies in UAE. Every month, we have 200 or 300 OFWs that should be working for us, complete documentation, visas and everything. They have accommodation, transportation, medical insurance, they have food, etc. But after just 1 month of being with them, magre-resign. I said, why? What's the problem? They were able to talk to some people, encourage them, you'll have more higher salary, then nagiging illegal na sila because wala silang visa for those other jobs.
I see.
That's why they are offering a higher fee.
Okay.
So they went to the embassy and the Polo office and said, of course, siyempre pag Pinoy, you have to be on the side of the Pinoy, but do you want your people to be having to work illegally because they just have to jump from one job to another? So humihingi siya ng tulong. I said, I am listening to you, but I also have to listen to the side of our OFWs.
What can be done? Because, I'm sure, they wouldn't want to be illegal alien.
Yes.
And I'm sure they don't, as you said, they don't want to leave their families. But what do you do when, the salaries of nurses here is so small compared to what they may get abroad? The same thing with teachers and other professionals. What can be done, I guess, to make it more economically attractive to work here?
you know, Klink, this is a long shot. But
Okay.
if ever I will be having to file a bill on that, that is on the salary increases.
Okay.
You know, whenever we have salary increases on teachers, that's a big controversial
yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
The same thing with our health workers or to our nurses. Kaya yung mga schools natin on nursing, sinasabi, oh, bago kayo mag-abroad, you have to work first dito sa inang bayan natin kasi kami nagpaaral sa inyo, which is true. And I support that. And then after a while, pwede na kayo mag-abroad kung gusto nyong kumita na mas malaki. I think we have to check on the salaries that we are giving our people, our manpower.
What about because as you said earlier, I want to go back to
Yes.
the most vulnerable are the domestic helpers, diba?
Yes.
Are you in favor of maybe looking at the salaries?
Of course.
Because you know, every Filipino will slam the government for not doing enough. But maybe one way to really check if
Yes.
if they really mean what they say, taas natin yung
Yes.
salary ng mga domestic helpers
Yes.
here.
I
Do
really,
you think
I am already planning to do that.
Okay.
To file a bill on that because as of now, we have from DOLE, of course, standardized yan. Parang for a certain place, 2005,
Right.
3,000 to 3,005. But me personally, not modesty aside, I'm not giving that. I'm giving more.
Okay.
Why? Because, alam mo naman, hirap nila.
Right.
We cannot work kung wala sila. We
Right.
cannot dress up, we cannot cook, we cannot
Right.
eat, etc.
Right.
And we're too busy to do all
Right.
of these things.
Right. Especially
But,
if you have a young family.
yes, young family.
You have young
My
children, you
gosh.
cannot work
Yeah.
without help, di ba?
Kailangan pa dalhin sila sa daycare center,
Right.
'di ba? So I think it is just and fair na magkaroon tayo in aid of legislation that will push for the increase of the salary. Meron niyang Luzon, may NCR,
Right.
may Mindanao, may ganyan yan. But at least to have a decent increase para po sa ating mga household service worker kasi talagang they're working really hard.
Yeah.
Karamihan nga second nanay na yan eh.
Right,
na mga
right.
batang mga anak natin, di ba?
How can we make it How can we make it acceptable to the public? Because you know, today we have, of course, high inflation.
Yes.
People complain about things.
Yes.
And then when we start talking about increasing the salaries of our house help,
Yeah.
how do we champion that to the general public?
Mm-hmm.
Because you know, as you said, if they go abroad, they're the most vulnerable.
Yes.
Right?
And the very reason why do we have to send our household service worker abroad if they can have a decent salary here?
Yeah.
And kahit mas mababa sa salary nila sa abroad for as long as hindi na sila nabubugbog, hindi
Yeah.
na sila nagiging biktima ng human trafficking, kasama pa pamilya,
Yeah.
they will accept that. Even hindi kasing
Not
standard,
not
not
one
at
to one.
par.
Yeah.
Oh, hindi naman kung 20,000 ako,
Hindi naman
25,000
kaya
ako,
rin,
hindi,
yeah.
hindi naman kaya natin yan.
Yeah.
But at least a decent increase, of course, definitely magkakaroon ng controversial
Sure.
lobbying yan, maingay yan, kasi everybody will be affected. But a decent and fair and just increase, I don't think na makaka-harm or makaka-apekto to sa atin. But that is really one of the bill that we are wanting to file very soon in the 19th Congress. I think that will help a lot
Yeah.
na mabawasan na yung mga nabibiktima na mga OFWs natin dahil karamihan kasi Klink. Lalo na sa Middle East,
Yeah.
karamihan kasi dyan, so meron silang pension from the
Okay.
government.
Okay.
Even if they don't work, they can just stay home and the yaya is there, the nanny is there.
Right.
So what will happen?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of cases ng mga rape victims natin or kuya naman sasabihin sila yung nagnakaw kahit hindi, sila pa madedemanda because nagko-complain sila.
Right.
How do we avoid that? Dapat sabi nga sa medical, prevention is cure.
Yeah.
Diba? So kung ma-prevent natin ang ating mga household service worker, pupunta doon dahil sa ganitong sweldo, tapatan natin to, makakabawas tayo ng mga human trafficking victims,
Yeah.
mga problema na kinakaharap, lalo na ng mga pamilyang iniiwanan natin dito. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
So I think it's just fair
Yeah.
na maayos natin yan.
Yeah, I mean, after all, I mean, if the professionals will have, you know, their own professional groups to help protect them, pero
Yes.
the domestic helpers, they're
Yes,
none, right?
that's very true.
Well, what about, you know, of course, as you said, we can't match what they're getting abroad, but what about non-financial programs? Maybe, you know, as you mentioned earlier, retirement, maybe medical insurance, education. There's something that maybe will, if they don't get it in terms of salary, maybe at least pambawi man lang
Yes.
from what they may be losing
Yeah.
if they go. Is that something that you're looking at?
Yeah, we also have filed a bill na pag umuwi sila dito, yun ang yung reintegration program,
Right.
dapat meron silang insurance to start with at meron silang sinasabing na credit assistance
Okay.
to start with sa
Right.
kanilang hanap buhay, whether
Right.
kung ano man to, but of course may plan to. And we already filed a bill on that.
Oh, good.
Yan yung mga tinitingnan natin dahil sinasabi nga natin sila yung most vulnerable.
Right.
So kinakailangan pag uwi nila sa Pilipinas at nagdesisyon sila na talagang hindi na sila magbabalik sa
Right.
abroad, they have to be taken care of. For many years, they built yung remittances natin.
And then I think finally we can see whether or not the general public really mean what they say. Diba? When something like this is debated. We'll be right back with Congresswoman Marissa del Mar. We're talking to her here on Business and Politics.